kwasiampani bema dwan. Se bema wajimi a wo ye ne dan wajimi. Pese de wasi anyini hurun adwene bia ne wutirim. Wo sa kwasiampani we wo share politics achi share NDC party achi. De ma animu be yefom. Wo share politics achi betena ho. Bie wanu fin no aka kire obi se obi ntimi magana because Ghana ye wo se kwasiampani wo jimifo be me ya wa mobrei Ghana ye wo de anti no wo ba betena ho aka kire me Millinash se mi ntimi si Ghana krache ubuo me nka nje o se Ghana me be yeden Ghana me pese me ba ne me ba Ghana ne 2 weeks ago na me wo Ghana tike kwasiampani chimifo be ma 2 weeks ago na me wo Ghana kwasia be ma wa mobra no waye bobo ya ma politics kwasia be ma woni ma brabo nti otena sia no odi matam abuafunu upe obi oye kronfo wudini a ene ya mahama ne mo government no maka tike se mahama na maka se oni mo wuo ne hu bi no so nti asia entwa me Ghana mahama epe achi no Ghana jollof achi no ode ma Interpol or the my UK force or no. Me say uye bema mentwa me Ghana kwasiampani jibi for ani ase me sura hunahuna se obi wo ti Ghana wo kwasiasa no wo ti ho no de politics be ka kire me say me pa me si Ghana abuafunu wo kwa sa wo ti Ghana odwanfunu wo so ni fa so no kwa wo ti Ghana jimi bema kurasini yalefo kurasini bema Obo bra nkanye politics ho adwuma na abeye wo so kamera no pa awie numre eno na wodididie aboadwan emebo bra no wo te kamera so papa pani mo te sa wo tike wo de fa wo jimi no wa jimi keka na wo firi keka ya besi na ya wonya so fa so bia na anu ya muma akomode wo kakra na wusu kwasia wo na boate odwanfunu na ntwie mu cow asia jimi se o ayi mu atwasuo wo Ghana abuafunu na wo na mahama no mo ba betena Ghana konya so till when wo na wo she ene MPP aba o kira na NDC aba no wo su twa obi asuo si ye twasuo na ye yia nka Kevin Teller mahama ma ni twasu se Kevin Teller me say ade akura mahama aya me say me de no so obetimi aka kira me say mami si Ghana no obetimi a me de no ne say Kevin Teller oni na mo timi ba Ghana free mo ya muwa bi mame mo ta NDC fo no kwasiafo nwan ponchi bi kwasia keka bi anu aba betena ho na mo keka ta mahama no ka so ope Ghana jollof for the my Interpol itima ka bibi atia mra mahama efa my Interpol abrochire no mo hwehwe machira kwan mentwa me Ghana na me fa mra ene mo nkasa wo ye odwanfunu pa jimifo bema jimifo bema jojontwie kwasiampani biba abuafunu kwana ko dware wo epo na ho ofin dodo bema jimi ko nyansa wate.
It's obviously no news that Cindy Emma Kumsin, popularly called Queen Emma, who is a staunch member of the Team Legal Wives, has been arrested. She was arrested at the Accra International Airport, and she has been charged with threat of harm or causing threat of harm and publishing false news. This has ignited some agitations from the camp of the Team Legal Wives, some saying that it will actually yield no results, it will get nowhere, or the term that we normally use for such cases, foolish case, so it will turn into a foolish case, nothing will come out of it. And some also saying that Queen Emma should just eat the humble pie and go to Odobroni and apologize to her, and everything will be sorted out, or everything will be okay. Now, whether she will apologize or not, I'm just here to offer you some education on the implications of the charges that Queen Emma has been slapped with. And if you don't know, it is not so light as you think. Some people say or believe that the laws of Ghana do not work, especially those abroad. That's, the notion that some of them have, that as for Ghana, the laws do not work. No, let me tell you something. If you have not been caught in the web of the law, you might think that it does not work. But when you are caught, that is when you know that the laws of Ghana indeed work. So Queen Emma being arrested and charged with threat of harm and publishing false news might sound very trivial, very unserious charges to you. Or it might even appear to you that this will get nowhere. But I'm just here to give you some insight into the laws of Ghana. According to the Criminal Offences Act, 1960, Act 29, Section 74. It says that when you commit a threat of harm, it is a misdemeanor, which is to say that it is a minor offense. However, such a person who has committed threat of harm could face up to 3 years in prison or could be fined or both. Let me explain. So according to the discretion of the judge can say that you are to be sentenced to prison for a year, 10 months, or a day, or even 2 years. But the maximum sentence is 3 years. But the judge could also say that I just want to fine you. So the judge would just slap you with an amount. Or the judge can say that I'm fining you and sentencing you to jail at the same time. Now, the threat of harm entails a lot. But let me just limit myself to something that Queen Emma did, which obviously some people by now know, that she exposed the passport details of the children of Odobroni. Could that be a criminal offense? Let's look at Section 71 of the Criminal Offences Act 1960 at 29. It protects children against exploitation. It protects children against abuse. So that is very, 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 very serious offense. Also, the Cybersecurity Act 2020 protects children against online abuse. Therefore, anything that you do that will expose children to online abuse or harm, or if you collect data about children illegally and you share it online, that is a crime according to the laws of Ghana. The punishment for doing that is you could be sentenced to up to 25 years in prison. So Queen Emma being slapped with 2 charges, threat of harm, publishing false news. The threat of harm could end her in jail. The same way the publishing of false news could end her in jail, depending on how the lawyers of Odobroni argued their case out, and also depending on the discretion of the judge. So don't sit there and just say Ghana laws do not work. By the time you realize, you are in prison.
Sabato and the rest, at least I see Ashanti Queen apologizing or retracting what she said, or say, or no, when you say Atisemu, she came to claim, made a claim, say, Odobroni and others she mentioned, where the Omuna, their act, Omunomu act, they acted, their act, and the kun, or say Omunomu kun, that the Lumba. She didn't say, oh, yet they say, she actually claimed, and the same thing was Queen Emma. And you people are having difficulties sort of understanding the Bonia, Queen Emma, and what you guys are saying. You can't even see it as it is wrong. It is against the law. Some Ghanaians, my Bonia, Munim Bonibu, Metihani Abache, Abranti Bukurumua. Now me call up and down, sir. Now other people, oh, wait. Oh, because the case was given to me to go find a lawyer in Intino. I read the case. Now me share the charges, and I was doing a lot. I me fast somehow. Me koye research. When I was doing, and I read a lot of people who are in jail at that time for the same crime, no. But when a Ghanaian was talking about it, also we on you know, oh wait, and you think a nipekum kotain and a crime. Sure. When a man does something, no be saying na abrochi anomo, they see it as the worst kind of crime to disrespect, and I say value the work, because it ends up with a kum. When somebody destroys you, when you build, you work so hard to build something, and somebody wants to for one day pet with reputation, what you toiled hard working, earned money, and now they see that, as I said, this your act, can make a person cramp so obet me from that act, so court proceedings, when they are mentioned, when they are actually making their case, you see the words use, the word ombe print too, very like a monster. But Ghana for Dubonis ama these things, unless they say yenipekum, they don't see it. So Queen Emma Muninano, they really took light of this thing, said they were doing, because they can't say she thought it was a joke, which pissed me off even more. That means they can kill a person without knowing. That's why Ghanaians descending on other people, and they don't see the emotional effect. We have no clue about what makes a human being. And until now, they are having difficulties understanding. De betoto obi what can say Ajagraja say a human error. Ajagraja named somebody. Did he put somebody in a position where the person's reputation or their integrities are going to be questioned. Did he put someone? Did he actually attach what he said to a person? You see, that's the difference you people don't know. Nipa yo mbacheni, oba ha, police for dinner from US, me say, they took it light, sir, tin and no, near betam no ko, or pianino, no, Ghana. So that's how I Ghana for moniama, bonea, mofan and getting, that's why our churches are not active. That's why they are not effective, because they don't really connect the Bible in some to real life experience and events. Someone say, until you guys are having the very difficult time. That's why as a women in other parts of the world are fighting a systems that will bring stability, that will bring ahoto. You see, in this part of the world, women fought so many laws. They changed. They were the cause of many changes. I went to this hospital, women's hospital, and the history, a teaching hospital. Over 100 years ago, a woman who was denied of doctor to become a doctor went to US, educated herself, give herself the education, came back to Canada, opened a home, teaching way, not during the sanka or mama or a member so mom penema or sukuno to become a doctor or a nurse, which was the case in the 1900s. Women were limited. Emma Besia and Emma Wowaba, Wukunema Muninane, Asante Kuma, wo man to a man a fighted that law and Yabema. And Yabemo. In Canada, it was 5 persons. It was 5 Aboriginal women who called Ottawa. Go to the Parliament House or a man on the 1 year statue. There were 5 people who fought the law. The PNDC law section, the Ghana, J.J. Rollins, Obana days had the Nebahanum. Someone say, so this teaching hospital today, a man and the Gina Martin Luther King was supported by women, purely women. When Rosa Parks said no to segregation, that discrimination and that racism, our bass in Rosa Parks and sorry, and free, baby, a mama sissy was a Obroni netan woman, they all pay the same fare. Women stood behind her. Women, Bagana former. What did this Akosa Sewa story taught you people? Say, Oba, your responsibility to your children doesn't reflect action. Your children, your husband. So when you be matia, yena yaka de jan ho for years. Wo de yefane so mama Akosa Sewa F2 kwan ko Wagadugu ena ojai daddy Lumba years wan tenenka one na one no enya hwe na daddy Lumba ware. Oba na waware no wo oba besia oba na wawo 7 6 survive no yen to so oba into street so just because another woman chose to pick their priorities, she decided which one. Or see Germany nkunte ne yetetiba akola ne ye Ghana yenteteba into ojai daddy Lumba homa daddy Lumba F ba Ghana ba odin kola ne ba oni ni kunu beba no or see German nkunte and I yet buy ye into an any manner Ghana. She made that decision, and which was her decision. Nobody, me, I don't blame her for that. I don't even want to judge her for that. At the time, what was going on, Naminiho. But today, what has happened? What is that brought? What is the result of her decision she made? It made that the Lumba also build another life, which is he deserved to have another life. He moved on, and they settled their matters with properties and all that. If you any business now that the Lumba Jawo Germany no, that the Lumba never went back to it, and you are having problem with allegations and Ghana for ma moon pad siam, you don't want to discover anything the discover this thing tells me say I'm telling you abrofi the panie be ball Ghana for asifu bimo. They were successful with some vaccines be. And almost share that my come do what you would do any Jimmy, you would do anything. Systematically they worked on a black man not to think and to always go after money, paper. But what brings about the paper no, you don't know it because they've distracted you. And until America, Ghana for one say Ghana, they know say you are easy manipulated because it's saying you go after material things, sika, paper. And no edin or how be bra. Shame on you women. After today, you are still say, oh yeah, legal wife. I would after all this evidence, after everything. And no natural me say you are prideful and you are weak to have to understand and to accept your wrong. You are weak. You are any weak person does not want to admit to say I was wrong. It's very bad for women in Ghana.
Woman father, this is your first and last. And me who said me akasa. Woman father, I have the video. Woman father, omo ba wo no. Ba ko kwa wo na frame opening ba ko. Wọ́n say free. Stop defending these people because we went there to apologize to Roman father. The way he was sitting down, the way he was quiet, I think he's going to accept it. Roman father.
Yeah, Frida, Abday. Frida, then I would Frida, and then I would pa free Queen Emma. Oh, tell me, Frida, I don't know what says a papa nekwe. If you don't pan this way, 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 Frida. Yeah, Frida. Asamaba. Frida. That's here, Niso. Papa nekwe you free. If you don't pan this way. Hey, Frida, Misha. Say, Miso, my head read me American. Mami akusha se wa a friend sen. Mother's Day na ye kwa welcome mami akusha se wa no. Mi kwa bi o. Metu on the fifo. Na papa so na Frida e be di na wotwe na wi ansa na yakwa na. Frida den de me mami akusha se wa de na nya de me meti me ja me akwa papa ye no. Me ka no kra kire. Ana Frida sa na te de yenye mami akusha se wa ade ni wi. Anya sa me de me mama ko sasa wa dende nya de me meja ko papa ye no she wa wakasa sa sister wakasa sa me ka to say jai o janto kwa wuki free jai ese sa so ko gan ye be chewo free o to ko gan ye be chewo atumo ana wo se yancho ana wo se me fa me kwasa sam so papa wa hayo papa wa hayo Ekwa na Frida baba swabo papa. Ye wa wume. Papa deme. Papa medika na Millinash. Papa uja ezeni o. Wa wu ya uja ezeni o. Ye. Ana Frida asemi fa me kwasa asemi firi o. Mama ko sase wa izu mimi ko bi o. Mother's Day na ye ko welcome mama ko sase wa ne de. Frida mimi ka no kra kire. Ene papa ye o de ba sha fridge mi. O de ba sha fridge mi ba buso mi ensa. Ana wo se What's your man 1 year? Na sister mbacho wa fre confuse you. Papa confuse you. Wa fre Beneza. Ene me fre Roman father no odoblo ni mo. Na se na wa twida ni dru ami wa monko yo na me ko ma me akoso ase wa de ni bi o. Antinia fre odoblo ni fre Roman father confuse you. Fre Beneza. Ene antisisi. Ye ba tan wa sha no bone sa ne de. Obekwa akodjam. Frefresa afọ ni nyina o sister me ka kire o nje ni yesu ya bia duru a frefre mu nyina o na o mu nyina nko wa hu se na abolo man fa da tiri so no frefre o mu no mu nko why ana ho abim na ebe frɛ no sa ko papa ko fi wusu mama chana mo de ko ka kire ma zero mo se di adwuma no mama chana na ona mo na ni din no frɛ papa ko fi wusu why papa na wabo am ye Lumba funu no friend no me dia omo menko jai na mimi momu dia me na otweda no mintimi ma o ene ayi da no kra hwe mintimi ma because say me ma me ko say wantimi minti jai o hwe me me shumi dia baba wanya ne baba ni se Frida ntimi ma woni mi se Frida ne ko to kro baba na nga esa otwan ana wo si antawa du na ma ana Frida simi nyaji mi no Abusia mbaba na da hono free wo se ya kwa na ya ba oh sister mkaza fasika bra na mzimi mva bi mra ne enko rent na abo from maba pay you say wa sheti modobro ni for ya kwa ahefa no mu begina mimi eti mame ko so se wa o ndu wo di timodobro ni for baba mzimi di timako so se wa ni ya be ye eti mi ni de match ni mu onten. Is a confused to see a tuna bearsi. sister, dear say any munyam we kwa ekwi. Kofi usu ne etu na de afi. Mama ko say wa yesu say ajiefun. Dear say obegina hin. Debi sister yami hu ye na me da kwa edu batumo. Firi da edu batumo. Ana we see aja kun man tie ntimi nchewo. Baba batu e Ghana ho wote. Baba batu e wote. Na baba tun ga kan kakere. E dey asem kure ni. Fila. Ana fila asimi nya jimi. Hey, me. Yamfu konjihima na adi matamino. Yamfu konjihima. One me. Wati? Konjihima ba ko pe no size. Usi mi va mi jimi mviruzo. Fila na chiude dia. Wati? Nana ansa aduba otoshimienu. Yamfu. Ni konjihima ba ko pe mamalu no size. Usi say, usi mi menya oden. Onza asho. Meme yamfu konjihima. Oguru ho amachiude dia. Usi wa jimi. Fila ja jimi no te. Uni nyamentina. Mi ba kwa me visus na kasera die. Frida. Frida jutu.
Yama wo ya catch ose kokumu bi ni nyina ye ndada ye kuntumpo de me catch ni pa bia sunsum bia ne offer woje ane ye wo entities a wodo bebrebe ye wo Baphomet Asmodeus ye wo Leviathan ye wo entities a bebrebe
obi akwaji kuku abehye dem ma fis kama na
ya sa nada se di pa na adwuma adi no ana wo de adwuma adi amanfo
obi makwaji wo ni fis
hey abo wo be da physical wahene ye for logic into bibi ho wo woni minim ya say no wa fe bondus 50 fire spirituality but nye spirituality na ye no abo na wo spirituality ne fa no so akoye sa me ne na ntimi me emfisa asika ne mam
so snake cannot vomit
how can it be possible for a snake
to vomit money
to vomit money Charlie, let's be truthful to ourselves. Say Jesus ane yere baba tutu ambanya kagana ahombani nyinasa. Let's look from Monday, Sunday to Saturday. The number of churches that operate. Lecture ya omutimi ya so fiti kwasi anopa. Kwasi ada nwumra, kwasi ada wi ana wapo na nwumra basa ba.
Obi a wo ba nam ho. Me ba ye kaba.
Abai omudi e chese anopa awia nwumra kraba no. Eda so na busa wo se nipa na wo gina mu bompa ye de ama. He still worth it. Asore na moko bebrebe na bebre ho no ma mokra ani nipa na ogina ni mu ne nhia so munim na moda so kwa asore no nipa na ogina wo bompa ya ama wo no is o deserve so ogina wo ye mpa bode ma wana yes follow who knows who enti nipa na ogina wo ye jire baba yire nka ne kra mu ye du sen ko no abejewajewe wa wo hwe me aba wutiri bu se me kokumi maame me kokumi nua bi akɔgye sika duro no ɔhene wobɛkɔ akɔkum no hwema unya hwe no adi nkwase asɛm sɛ bi mfrɛ no mu asɛm na afɛ wabɛtena se bue uwia na takusi mpo bi ameka wonsa sika duro na ni ho na mo adwuma no na wokɔbɔ ho ba kɔtwa ho nantwa kɔtwa ho dwa kɔtwa ho aponche kɔtwa ho kraman na sunsun no so wadi saa de ani nti wɔde akɔ bibi papa de abrɛw o 10,000 mo se de bia na ni peba akɔkɔ obi ka kyerɛ sɛ kumobi agye sika nipa no yɛ dadafo ebi ko agye sika almost 2 billion 1 billion 800 million nso ka sɛ kokum nipa da ho ntimi
kokum ebi na sɛ si wo is amasa my way
ka sɛ kokum ho ntimi kokum ntimi ne kyerɛ sɛ ne de bɛba ne sɛ nti obi obɛka kyerɛ wo sɛ sunsuma ware bia no enye bia no one way or the other it has a positive side of it now yanko the negative side you will be so baba wale we be di wunya obiti bi hye na bobo pose wo be ware wo be se wa bra ni pamu kura na sanity obiti bi ba ware wo se wo sika nti enti ye sunsuma no so baba be ware wo na wo ware wo a wo dwuma na wo ye no bo se wo be se no because ya hye ne so me ware no se no what you say enti wo ko busa se ma ware ya me ware wo sunsuma wo se obi ni me beda na ware ya me ware wo sunsumi eye papa ana ye bone ansa na wahwe se yengu awale ne ma na kwanda so de ne di gina so kura gu awale ne ma wo no ma esei ma abrabo okutia na sa abra me no ka se sunsun ne ware wo store koso abrabo yi obo akonhoma we si mi gu aware we ogu na obedie
nti o se sunsumini ne tena se hwese awade e
bona say no
papa hwe sunsum awade no say amamre kwanso ne fa so twetwum pe de mate de sofo betimi de food the water anointed the blood
na ntira me ka say ntira na me call no yes sir be cheme ma break no ye ntwa sunsum aware ye break sunsum aware ye ku ne ye de amamre ne amane ye de ne ka wa ne nsamma no what you say obe ware wo fra busia mu obe ware wo ma obe ware wo kra
so gwa wale anema no so sumo ba ko
o de man what you say de me ka che ni panyina ne se wote wore mama wadwene po NCP ne wo ye fa dwene pa odo kore ye ntiase abotire gidie ne no kore enante wo de sa nyoma we nante wonya sunsum pa ma ne di wachi bo ho ban ekoma wa bra kra nko sunsum bia na de sa to so bio ne se wonim tira me se bra ene me no ameto nchira fo adwuma sem okodanda wo ha wa mane wa benedie de aye kudanto ata wa bra boso de aye enyini o se dua bi enyina na e problem eti de aye enyini wo wa bra boma ama epo na boma wo ko anko no ene na me se fa bra na ne bofo buabuduro ene ne ma ne mofre wo ne hunyina na bra fo kwasi gadew akwasi mforma na te ga bofo se bra fa beda wo na omonhwe na omomo na bi mfa to utimi se susuma wale ne yakasa wo da no no beda ne nkwa ne nkwa nye o awia kete bra na kuratimi si awia kete bra na kuratimi si anopa da siom kuratimi si wo ho no ma hwenka na wa utimi se mo sa no na mum sabi ensu wo emba ma abon engwa bonten wo utimi se me feel it said yes me no badan and no chikra kire wo se sunsum bi ne wa ye den aba bedi ehye bra babu se kire se sa sunsum na no bedi ehye eya de eba boaw ana eya de se se ye den eboa wa na ye hwe ho asem ne yenka